I do need a little background. All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to the show today. We got Devon Motti in the house. The online arbitrage ninja is back for part. I think this is like part 2 or 3 we've had you on the show, but first time we've had you on the Seller Secrets channel. So, Devon, appreciate you being with us, man.
Yes, sir. Happy to be here, man. Good to see you, Gabe. Looking good as ever.
So cool, man. Well, let me just edify this interview real quick. We got about 45 minutes today. We're going to get laser with this interview on. Devon, you just sent me a text a couple days ago that you had busted out a $98,000 sales month on Amazon, and this was last month, so smack dab in the middle of summer when most Amazon sellers are kind of sleeping on the job, hanging out with family, doing barbecue stuff. You're killing the game, and so I wanted to talk to you today, man, about how you're doing it. What your net profit is on that, and really how you set the whole business up. But as we're talking, if you guys don't know Devon Motti, successful Amazon seller from the upper Northwest, Spokane, Washington area. And Devon, how long have you been selling on Amazon?
Well, I got started kind of dilly-dallying about 3 years ago, but it'll actually be 3 years since I sent my first shipment into Amazon as of the October of this year. So nearly 3 years.
So 3-year overnight success story, right? And I'm sure you didn't start off selling $98,000 in a month. I mean, I don't know. When you first started, did you ever think you'd be doing this kind of business on Amazon, or what did you think when you first started?
Yeah, so it's ironic, man. I mean, I probably got started because I was like, well, this is a practical way for me to make what I was, as soon as I got started, like $500 a month profit, $1,000 a month profit. But then I was like, well, let's just throw some gasoline on the fire and let's see if we can really scale this up into a business. And it just so happened that the cards folded into place and was able to scale this up into a real good business. And it just makes sense to keep scaling it up at this point.
Yeah, man. Well, we'll talk about that. We'll have to be real laser. I want to welcome everyone that's joining live on YouTube and in our top secret Amazon group. We have members on, and we're sharing this one also. So I want to say what's up to you guys. I see you live in the YouTube chat. If you guys have questions, put them there as always. And hey, before we start, Devon, just real quick, this is special for 2 reasons. One, we're going to talk about what's working for you. But 2, you're actually speaking. You're one of the speakers at our summit that's coming up, which is our one and only live event that we do each year in Louisville, Tennessee, Louisville, Kentucky. And so if you guys, I want to give just real quick announcements on that. The tickets are going fast, and we have a limited number of seats in our room block. And I just got a message yesterday that the Saturday night rooms, I had 2 of our TAP members call the hotel, and they were sold out. So we called the hotel. We opened up a couple other rooms for you guys on Saturday night. But if you've already decided to come, there's a link below this video. Get your tickets. You can see Devon live and hear the whole story. I won't talk too much more about that on this hangout. But Devon, I'm excited, man. We posted this in the group, and we had a lot of people interested in how you're killing the online arbitrage game. So for someone that's brand new, do you mind just describing in real quick, what is online arbitrage? What is your business model?
Yeah, so online arbitrage, all you guys that are new, it simply means you buy a product from an online retailer, and then you resell it on Amazon. That you could buy it from Walmart. You could buy it from Amazon, Target, Macy's, JCPenney, you name it. You can buy a product from any online retailer. Just make sure that they're an authorized distributor of the product, and you can resell it back on Amazon and make yourself some good profit. It's a lot less legwork than retail arbitrage. However, the margins are lower, but you can pump a lot of volume because there's you can order like crazy, and it's definitely a nice addition to the retail arbitrage.
Yeah, man. Well, I appreciate you sharing that. And I think both are great strategies, but you mentioned the pros and cons right up front. Lower margins, so it's a lot easier since you're buying online and selling on Amazon. You're competing with literally thousands of sellers all across the country. So you see a lot. I mean, we'll talk about that. However, it frees up your time. So you're actually traveling today. Where are you? You're traveling up in Upper Oregon, right? You've been visiting some family the past couple of weeks while all this has happened. Is that right?
Yeah, man. I kind of set up the freedom model. That's what I'm going for. I did do a little bit of retail arbitrage on the road. I just bought this vehicle cash down in California, and I was visiting my family, and I was like, you know what, this is perfect timing. I'll buy this vehicle cash. I'll drive up and visit my grandmother who's in the hospital. She just got out, so thank God for that. And my aunt just here in Southern Oregon on the border of California. and now I'm heading back home. So I did a little bit of retail arbitrage, man. I've actually, honestly, guys, just work hard, man. Just focus. Listen to what Grant teaches. Listen to what Gary teaches. Listen to what I teach, and just take action on it, and you're gonna succeed. I gotta tell you, retail arbitrage is still huge. I just went in on a whim to some stores on the way back home, and I'm making $4,000 or $5,000 from just on the way home. So definitely good money. I mean, I did put in some good hours, and I know the business, but you can be there too, and you can go out today, and you can get online and do it like we're going to teach you right now. So yeah, Gabe, I'll be back home in a day or two, so it'll be nice to be home and everything.
Yeah, man. Well, what you've done, Devon, and this is what's unique about our group, is you mentioned the freedom model. And so there's a lot of sellers and entrepreneurs who get in this business looking for freedom. And what they end up finding is they create another job for themselves. So you've structured your business in a way the same as Grant structured his business, same as Gary and all the successful sellers in our group, where you have time freedom to take trips and do things that you want. And that's really unique in our space. There's a lot of sellers who have been in this game for a lot longer than 3 years who have yet to figure out how to crack that. So let me ask first right off the bat, man, because I know people want to know, you hear 98,000 in sales. Some people think that's unbelievable. Some people think that's small. It's all just a mindset. But what's your take home? Like, how much of that do you get to put in your pocket after you pay all your expenses?
Yeah, I'm taking home about 14,500, maybe 14,250, about that.
So 14K, I'm just doing the math here, divided by 98 in sales. So a 14%. Now this is net profit margin. So this is after buying all your product and doing all the business. Does that include paying yourself, or do you pay yourself out of those funds?
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll pay myself about $5,000 or $6,000 and then reinvest the rest back into the business. That's how I usually do it. Sometimes I'll pay less to myself. Sometimes I'll pay more. Just depends on how the month is and what the business is looking like. And I highly suggest, guys, all of you pretty much reinvest all your money into your business until you actually have a solid net profit, and then reward yourself. Do something really cool for your family. Go across town, stay in a hotel suite, and take the kids out to a nice area, or your family or your spouse. And that kind of reward with the balance of hard work and reinvesting your money is going to make this the balance of scaling a business while having a lifestyle and reaping some of the fruit from your labor.
Yeah, man. Echo that, brother. Well, you mentioned real quick the margins, and I want to just hit on that and then just go right into how you're doing it. But how do the margins on online arbitrage compare to the RA stuff that you do?
Yeah, so I'll just tell you guys. So your margin, and I always talk ROI. I'm an ROI type of mindset. That's just how I look at things. If I go out and spend $10,000 on retail arbitrage, I'm certainly going to make $5,000 to $10,000 in profit. And even if the market fluctuates and things get, tanked on a few items, I'm still going to make about $4,000 in profit with the retail arbitrage. Now, the only thing is, for some of you, depending on where you live, the retail arbitrage opportunity might be limited. And there's only so many hours in a day. It might be hard to go spend $10,000 depending on what season it is, what items are available, how much information you know. And it might be easy. I've literally spent $10,000 in one store in a single day, multiple times. But that's not the norm. That's not the norm. It does happen, and it's like, thank you, Lord, when it does happen. I mean, and I'm thankful for every find. I mean, sometimes I'll come out of a store with $40, and I'm like, well, I got myself some groceries and $40 in profit, and it took like 20 minutes. So I'm content with that. However, your online margins, you're more looking at about 20% ROI. There are higher margin products, of course. There are things that you're going to make, a much higher margin on. But what I would tell you guys is, don't be discontent with a 20% margin if you sell it in 2 or 3 weeks of buying it. So if you buy $10,000 worth of stuff, which learning the cycle with retail for new people is really important, because you're going to go out and scan stuff, and you're going to and send it in. You're going to get an idea of how fast items sell. And then when you find the online deals, you can kind of say, all right, well, I know this is ranked, 40,000 in toys or whatever. And based on my experience with, the other market, it says I'm going to make 100% ROI. I'm going to go ahead and buy 25 units of this. And even though at the time of purchase, it looks like I'm going to double my money, even if I make 30% ROI by the time it gets to the warehouse and it's all said and done, all I had to do was place an order. All I did was place an order. So I like to talk about per SKU profitability too. So I'm not looking at per item. I look at, okay, if I spend $2,000 on this SKU, I'm going to make $400 and I want to make that in, I'm shooting to make that in about 4 weeks, sell all the inventory. And if I buy some other stuff, like some of the Amazon flips or some of the, clothing and shoes and different stuff, doesn't matter what website it is, 6 p.m. or, Amazon or Kohl's or whatever, I might look like I'm going to make a 60% ROI, but I know that stuff might take 3 months to sell. So I'd rather have a mix, a lot of stuff that sells fast and a little bit of stuff that sells slow that makes the higher return. And I do have someone that does the retail arbitrage shopping. So let's kind of center that back to the online arbitrage game. Basically, guys, if you look at it like this, let's just say if you're new, keep doing the retail arbitrage, get yourself 10 grand that you feel confident in purchasing inventory with. I know if you're new and you haven't done a whole lot, it might seem like a big deal to spend 10,000, but you're going to learn and your education is going to come into congruency with the, the 10, the 20, the 30, $40,000 you're going to be spending a month on online inventory. And you might just make $2,000 from that 10 grand, but you make that every month on top of your retail. And maybe you're making $1,000 or $2,000 with retail. That's a full-time income. $3,500 or $4,000 a month is a full-time income. And scrape what you want off to pay yourself, reward yourself, and reinvest the rest of that into your business. And you can scale up to have these $10,000 and $15,000 months.
Dude, you just unpacked a whole bunch there, man. I appreciate that, dude. You're giving some good, wise words of wisdom for new people, just to get together. Some people might have 10, 20 grand they can invest in their business, and some people don't. And so RA absolutely is the best way to gather capital to do that and learn the business. Like you said, learn the flow, learn how Amazon works, learn what's a hot selling product. Once you learn that, you take those skills to online arbitrage. And I'm glad you said that, because I think if a lot of new people skip that step, you can get slaughtered in the OA game. I mean, it's just not, there's a lot of veterans. I mean, there's people like you that they're competing with. And there's people like that all across the country, and you can get absolutely slaughtered if you don't know what you're doing. So that being said, man, you whet my appetite. Making 10, 14,000 a month in take home profits, nothing shabby, right in the middle of summer. So this isn't even Q4. We did just have Amazon Prime Day. I know we all saw a bump in sales from that, but I want to know how you're doing it, man. First question I got to ask Devon is, who's on your team, man? Are you doing everything yourself, or who's on your team?
Yeah, so obviously from the beginning, I did everything myself for probably too long. I did everything myself, and I had a prep center. I don't currently use a prep center. I have the inventory just sent to my house. It's in the downstairs of my house. The upstairs is, where I live, and the downstairs is where the business is. And I have, someone come over and they prep all the inventory. Even when I'm gone, I have people I like, know, and I trust. So we'll have tons of stuff sent to my house, like lots of stuff, pallets, almost just boxes everywhere. Inventory.
Think you're like the ultimate Amazon Prime shop. Like, this guy shops all day, every day, stuff showing up here.
Yeah, poly bags everywhere, labels, everything, and we keep it organized. There's we use a big Lowe's box for materials that we can use, for packing materials that we can reuse. And we have another Lowe's box that's right next to it that's for recycling, that we throw all the labels and all the stuff we don't need. And then we have another folder that we put all our packing slips in, because you want to have all of your data and stuff ready. Then we have receipt folders as well. That's just some extra information. But yeah, lots of stuff comes to the house. A couple people, sometimes usually it's one person, sometimes I'll have two, and they already know that it's on the honor system. They come and they prep the inventory, and then they get a percentage of the money. They make good money doing it, actually, and I make good money. And we have a system, it's just the Excel sheet, and the Excel sheet has, okay, this is how many units are expected to come from this supplier. This is the price they should be. And then I tell them, inspect the quality of the items, make sure that they're prepped and it matches the Amazon listing. There are times when you purchase stuff online and it doesn't match the Amazon listing. So I say, make sure it's prepped, it matches the Amazon listing. And then they'll go ahead and highlight it in green, saying we've received all the units and they're on the way to Amazon. And if for some reason we don't receive the units, then that doesn't go in green, and I make sure that we get those funds, recompensated or refunded, or we get the product sent, because sometimes some retailers, for whatever reason, make mistakes, and it's kind of easy to look over those when you're ordering a lot of inventory. You have thousands of items coming in. Okay. That's how we do it.
So you've got, so you run this operation essentially from home. You've got one prep person, and you said sometimes the second one, is that right? And that's basically, and then are you doing all the buying? Is that basically your whole team? Is you just have the prep team, and then are you doing everything else?
Yeah, I tried to outsource. I'm working on actually outsourcing the buying. It's just the buying is a really big deal. And even an algorithm, I come up with an algorithm. Okay, if it's the top, 1%, buy this many units, top 0.5%, buy this many units. But that algorithm doesn't necessarily work because I kind of look at, for example, it might something in the top point or the top 1% of clothing may not sell nearly as often as the top 1% of video games, right? They may both be in the top 1%, but I don't want to say, okay, buy, 30 units of this and then buy 30 units of that when maybe I only want them to buy, 8 units if it's the top 1% of video games. I don't want them to buy, 30 units. So I'm kind of working on that structure. I did outsource for a while. The buying was still profitable, but not as profitable as I'd like it to be. So I still do the buying. I'm going to outsource that. But hey, if that's all I'm doing is sitting behind a computer, spending thousands of dollars, that's not too bad. And it goes there and I don't see it. I don't touch it. I don't, have to be attached to the feeling of the inventory. It's good. And I don't mind doing it either. Sometimes if I'm home, I'll go downstairs and, roll a thing of tape. But if I want to be on the road with my family, I'm glad that I have the system in place to where I can, have money coming in still. And then we also have someone that shops. She goes around shopping, buying stuff from all the stores and drops it off once or twice a week. And then the prep person takes it, inspects it, preps it and sends it in too. So it's a pretty good system.
Okay, well, let me ask real quick. So you mentioned, so you're doing all the buying, and that's obviously the core part of the business. So I want to ask you next how you're doing that, and what that system looks like. But you've mentioned your prep team, and you mentioned you do have a retail arbitrage shopper. So just out of curiosity, how do you pay your RA shopper?
Yeah, I just give like a percentage of the profit. It's like about 15% of estimated profit from inventory lab. Is what we'll do.
Do they get any kind of a base hourly, or is it purely commission?
Sometimes I'll do like a little hourly. It just depends on what season we're in and stuff, and what the extent of the work is. If they can do something extraordinary, because I know it can be a good commission based business for somebody. If they can go out and be very resourceful and find some really good items, I mean, they might be able to make $25 an hour while helping you make $20 or $25 an hour. That might not be the norm for people. You really have to know this business very well to do that, but it's definitely possible.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I was curious. That's been an area I think a lot of sellers are curious about. So you just pay 15% of estimated profit out of inventory lab. So you're paying them before you even realize the profit, just a percentage of that. But that way they're tied in with the profit margin. So they're buying for you based on profit margin, not just going out there buying whatever because they're an hourly person. So I think that's a key point. But cool, man. Well, let's talk. I know you. We were talking before the call. You always love dropping nuggets, dude. Let's get into the technical stuff. Like how you're doing this. I don't know what you came prepared to share today, but my next question is, how are you doing the buying? Because this seems to be the most important process. Are there certain criteria you're looking for? Like, are you looking for top 1% product, or how do you start that process?
Yeah, the better the rank, the better, honestly. I'd rather have a great rank and make a lower margin at this point than have a, because I'll spend a lot of money. I mean, I'd rather spend $50,000 and make an 16% margin on stuff that'll sell quickly than spend $50,000 and make a 50% margin on stuff that might take 6 months to sell. Okay. So I will buy some of the other stuff too, but the main thing is I want to know, even if the price tanks, I want to know it's going to sell quickly.
Okay, so you're buying for speed and velocity. You're looking at rank more so than the margin. You'd rather sell stuff fast than 30 days. So is that top? I mean, each category is different, but what I guess when you source, I don't know where this starts from, man. Are you harvesting leads yourself, or are you using lists, or a combination of both?
Yeah, a combination of both. I have a couple lists, and then I also have some VAs that are putting some stuff together that it's been working pretty well. So I'll buy from both, and I buy pretty aggressively, and I also price aggressively now. Before, I mean, this works too. I used to buy stuff and kind of hold and wait for the market to go up, which I do very seldomly now. I still do it a little bit, but pretty much just buy and chase that price down all the way with the repricer. And sometimes I look at it and I'm like, oh man, the price went back up. Wow, it went back up. I just sold all of them. I could have waited another week and made extra $6 per unit. But, the reality is we need to not be emotionally attached to inventory as well, or the changes in the market. Because, you need to have an algorithm. If you're just kind of, especially when you're managing lots of inventory, like tons of SKUs and products, you can't just sit there and fall in love with every little SKU and know every little detail. Maybe you have a VA that can. You can set up an algorithm on your repricer, go a penny above. So if everybody sells out, you're not sitting there low, your price will shoot back up. There's different things you can do, but the main thing is don't get the process started, get some kind of concrete process, and then figure out the details as you go. Because as long as you're profitable and you become more knowledgeable, you can figure out those details and fine tune it as you go, rather than not taking enough action and not buying enough inventory, which are the things you need to do.
Yeah, I get that, man. You said this word, like having an algorithm, a couple times. So what's your parameters, or what's your algorithm when you look to source?
Honestly, now I used to go for higher profit products, but so I sold 4,000 products last month, and let's just say some of those were retail arbitrage. Probably roughly 1,000 of those were retail arbitrage products, where I made a pretty good profit on, maybe an average of $8 per unit. And then another 1,000 products, I probably made, maybe $5 per unit. And then maybe 500 products I actually broke even or lost money on. So think about that. 500 products, I was like, let's just get rid of these things and I'll lose money. And then the other 1,500 products, maybe I made, $3 or $4 on. But you put all those pieces together, that's about $18,000 profit, and you knock about $3,500 off for my expenses. And that's a business. That's what Walmart does. They're, throw a whole bunch of stuff out there, and if it doesn't stick, they clearance it, and we buy it and we sell it on Amazon. And that's the same thing that we do once we run this type of volume-based business.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard you say that a couple of times. That's, you're really looking for that volume with the OA space, and you've got comfortable sourcing. So, and you got about 25% RA sprinkled in there. So, well, let me ask this. There's a quick sidebar question. This came from one of our members. Bruce had a question on rank. He says that he still has some flips from February that has great rank, but are still sitting 6 months later. Should he price them more aggressively, or do you have any suggestions on what somebody that has product in their inventory that is ranking good, but it's just not selling?
So if it's ranking good, there could be a few different factors. The obvious one is if you're competing with Amazon. That could be for example, there's a lot of boots and fall-based items that Amazon sells for flips that are great, but they're not probably selling very often now. So what I would suggest, if you need capital, just liquidate those things. I have a repricer setting that says liquidate, and I charge it to the game and I lose 20% or more of my cost. Or if you're not really desperate for money, you're saying, I still want to win on these, I can do this. A lot of that stuff's going to sell in the fall. A lot of these boots and stuff that were down to $80, $100 or whatever, they're going to be selling for $200 and $220 in the fall, which is only, we're in July, so that's August, September, we're in the fall. So you might just hold on to those and wait, and make your money back. A lot of times, if they don't sell in the fall, they'll probably sell in Q4 for sure. So depending on your business model, I have some of the same stuff right now, and I actually set mine to bottom out, break even. And I'm kind of thinking now, well, if it doesn't break even by the end of this month, I'm just going to go ahead and 200% ROI that stuff and sit on it for another 3 months. You might, if you've had it too long though, you might have it sent back to you because you don't want to get those long-term storage fees in August. So maybe have it sent back to you, let it sit in the garage for 2 weeks and delete the SKU, and then relist it back on Amazon and send it back in. So that you don't get hit with the long-term storage fees, or they don't let you, not sell that SKU for a while. I think if you have it sent back to you, and then you send it back in, that'll work. And that's going to happen with a percentage of all your inventory. It's a percentage of it. Now, the goal is, as you get more educated and you kind of understand this business model, that happens to less of your inventory as you go. So you should remain profitable.
Okay, cool, man. I appreciate you taking a second to take a question. Bruce says, good idea to recall. A lot of those are boots. So there could be a lot of variables with this, but percentage of all your inventory, that's just part of the game too. So that might be a good question to pull Devon aside in the hallway at the summit and say, hey, man, here's the item. What do you think we should do about this? I'll just plant that seed. Well, Devon, help us unpack a 98K month, dude. I got to bust your chops a little bit because that's like 2K shy of 100. I know you've had Hundo K months before, and this isn't like every single month, but help us unpack what does it take to orchestrate? Obviously, you've been in the game for 3 years, so if someone's brand new, you didn't come out of the game, and we'll have to do a separate hangout, maybe talk through your early days, the story of that. But what are the keys to pulling off a 100K month on Amazon?
Man, the keys, man. So the key would be to, first of all, really know your inventory, know thy inventory. Make sure you're not, if you're buying anything, know the category inside and out, know expected competition. So retail arbitrage, if something's like got an okay rank, probably, these days there's retail arbitrage from big retailers like Walmart, Target, etc. Just be careful with the ranks and stuff. Wait for that bottomed out price. If it's a deal, try to get it even lower, because a lot of times the market's going to tank and you need to be prepared for that and have that expectation that, hey, even though it says I'm going to make 100% ROI, I'm probably going to make 20%. So can I get these $5 cheaper? You can talk to the manager to see if they'll mark it down for retail, or you can maybe go back the next week. Like I have some stores right by the gym I go to, and I don't really go to them as much anymore. I have my shopper go, but sometimes I'll stop in and I'll go, wow, I'm making a good money on this stuff, but I know that's going to be marked down next week, and I'd rather buy less and make a higher percent margin than buy more and make lower margin. That's for retail arbitrage. Another thing you can do, if you want to get an idea of like what the stores look like consistently, go on a road trip in your area. Just go like on a 3 to 6 hour little road trip at a few different towns, hit every single Walmart or whatever, and you can get an idea about like how many Walmarts are carrying different or the same products. I kind of got that idea on the way back up here. I went to so many Walmarts, and honestly, just huge opportunity, guys. Like seriously, there's just so much opportunity for you guys that are really hungry watching this. They're like hungry saying, man, I need to make $30,000 this year. Let's not say $1 million, but maybe it's to 20 to 30 grand in net profit in extra money in addition to your job, or maybe it's 40 or 50 grand. I don't know. Be aggressive, hit those stores aggressively. Unpacking the 98K month. So in the beginning, know your inventory super well, like inside out, know every detail of it, and never be attached to it, guys. I had some stuff that I had to liquidate, and I was certain it was going to be some good items. I had to do, there's a quantity limit of 5, I think, and I had to do like 20 orders of 5 to get them. And I got all these units and I sent them in, and the price tanked, and I was certain, and I was like, man, I guess I'll just sell them. I ended up losing like $800. Guess what? The price went up like 2 weeks later. I would have made like $300. Don't be attached, guys. And if you can't afford to risk $800 on one SKU, then don't lose an $800. Then don't buy that many of one SKU. As I've got bigger, I've taken more risks, but I still diversify them, right? And I'm confident. I'm in everyone. I'm like, I feel good about this. I feel good about that. Feel good about that. But the ones that go down, like Gary Ray said, if you have a cattle farm, some of the cattle are going to die. It's just part of business. That cattle, it served its purpose. It was grass fed. It was a nice animal, but just let it go and move on. There's 1,000 other cattle on the hill. Online arbitrage, if you've got money and you're saying, okay, Devon, I know I need to buy a lot of inventory to hit the 98,000. I know my inventory. What you got to do is just, you could do a couple strategies. You could do like I do and buy deep on SKUs in anticipation that the price is going to tank, but you're okay with making a lower profit per item. Maybe it's $2 or $3 or $4 per item. And some of those you're actually going to lose or break even on, but you're just selling so much dang, if you sell 3,000 items and make $4 off each one, that's a profit of 12 grand. And what if you just sold 3,000 items and 2,000 of them you made $4, and the other 1,000 you lost $2 on? Just scenario, that's still $6,000 in profit. Now to do that with the online arbitrage, that's $30,000 in buy cost though. So understand that that's $30,000 in buy cost that's diversified. And then there's the other route you could do, and Gary Ray does really well with this. He buys, I think he goes deep on some SKUs, but he buys a lot of higher margin products and goes really wide and diversifies, and then set your repricer to compete. And if you guys absolutely need to have a repricer now too, go ahead and get set up with Be Cool. It's really cheap. There's no way you're going to be competitive with online arbitrage, especially without a repricer. I mean, it's just not. If you're not paying for a repricer, you shouldn't be doing online arbitrage, unless you're just kind of dipping your toe in the water and you've got way more time than you do money. Because sometimes if you got way more time than you do money, you might just be looking around and find something crazy. Because I've done it, you know, early in the business, I've bought stuff that was $25 that sold for like $190, and I got like 60 of them. That was an anomaly, and I just happened to be at the right place at the right time in the middle of the night. After saying I need to make some money tonight, let's see what's out here, and it showed up. Did a couple buys that I made maybe $40, $50 from each, and then found one that I made spent $600 and made like $3,000 from. But that's an anomaly. You can't base your business on that. That's any more than you can base your future on a lotto ticket. Probably a little bit more than that, but that's just the anomaly, that being in the right place at the right time for taking consistent action. Go ahead, Gabe.
Yeah, that was an RA example, right? What you're talking about?
No, that was online arbitrage, man. That was a couple years ago, though. So
online deal, you were buying for $25, selling for, what'd you say, 190?
Yeah, it was an anomaly. I think it was like a pricing or something, honestly. Okay. But I've had a few that were pretty close, like 25 that I'd sold for like 80. And just buy them all, guys. If you're the lucky person that finds that, just buy as many as you can until it says out of stock. That's what you do, you know. And if it happens, you know, you're in the right place at the right time. You know?
Yeah. Well, let's let me help reel us in, man, because my head's spinning a little bit right now. Like, there's a lot of opportunity. I get that there's opportunity everywhere. Let's really drill into, you know, what you do that's working now for OA. And you mentioned a couple, 3 keys that you mentioned for unpacking, you know, your 98K month was know your inventory. So be really confident in what you're buying. And you shared some tips about doing RA to get to that level. Buying deep on certain SKUs. So when you find a winner, you take that risk. And so you don't just go short on those. And then 3, having your repricer set up. So I think if you're going to do OA, those are 3 really great kind of must-have keys to success. You mentioned you must have a repricer, whether you use Amazon's free repricer or Be Cool or App Eagle. We'll link below the Hangout to all the resources below this. But what's working for you with OA, man? Are you like, how much of your stuff are you buying off of a list, and how much of it are you kind of poking around finding stuff?
Let's say probably about half and half. Probably buying about half of my stuff from the list, and then I get half of my leads from my VA. And then, you know, I diversify. I'll buy stuff when Amazon's out of stock. You see the Amazon out of stock leads, I'll take that risk. I'm not going to buy a crazy amount. Like, let's just say it's a summer item that's really popular right now, and it's, you know, usually sells for, you know, $10, but it's well ranked. For some reason, the demand is way higher than the buy cost, and it's selling for, you know, $29, and it's ranked, you know, it's 2,000 in toys or something weird like that. I'll go ahead and take a risk. I'll go buy $2,000 worth of that and hope that counting on Amazon not coming in stock, and I'll sell the $2,000, and it might look like I'm going to make $2,000 profit. I might make 500, and I might make, you know, 2,500 depending on the market. You know, so I'll take those risks too with Amazon out of stock. I'll do that with a good, probably a good 20% of my inventory is based on those expectations of Amazon being out of stock. Okay,
so apart from the list, apart from several lists too, how many lists are you on? How many lists do you subscribe to?
I'm on 2 lists, and then I have my own kind of mini list. It's emerging. I've been getting good leads from. The best leads are the ones you could source yourself, I would say. Typically, I mean, you don't know who else sourced it. Like you said, the internet's a big space, thousands of people buy. But if you're on a list, you already know the price is going to tank, and just be prepared for a lower margin. And that's how you, honestly, I think it's a better way to do it. Just chase the price down. A lot of other people are going to be waiting around saying, yeah, I'm going to wait for this thing to come back around. And meanwhile, you've already sold yours, made, you know, a few dollars per unit, and moved on to the next one, while someone else might be waiting till Q4. In the beginning, I was kind of tight on money, so I said I am going to wait till Q4 for some of this stuff, because the price did go up, especially if you check Keepa. And it's a toy. Not only toys, beauty products sell well during Q4 too, and a home improvement, just different things that are in demand. So, yeah, I mean, go ahead.
You just got my wheel spinning, man. So a couple keys with the list. First off, if the list that you are on, you mentioned the race at the bottom, and that's what happens. I mean, some of these lists have like 100 people on them. And if you've got 100 people or 50 people buying the same product, they start pricing aggressively. So one of the things you mentioned, the keys, is if you are on a list, to be fast. You want to be fast. You want to get that product bought. You want to get it sent in, out the door in 24, like there's nobody's business, because even that extra, you might get a 2-3 day window on your competition who's sleeping, or some people slack, maybe it takes them a week to get it sent in. You got that window. And so are you going deeper on stuff on list, or are you keeping it real shallow, in and out, and just move on?
I'll go deep if I can, if it makes sense to. Let's just say if something's ranked, if I find a toy ranked like 8,000 and I only find it at 1 or 2 retailers online, if it's available across the whole internet, I probably don't mess with it. Like if you see a toy like at Toys R Us, Target, Walmart, and they're all about the same price, then I probably won't buy it, because what will happen is Amazon, a lot of other people are going to buy it, which is fine with online arbitrage, but a lot of people likely are going to come in drop shipping it too. So those drop shippers will come in on the listing, and then, probably the next day or two, and you don't know, the price is just going to go down. But if it's like if everybody's sold out and there's 1 or 2 retailers left, I'll go in and I'll be, all right, this looks like that no one's going to be in stock. It might be 6 months till the next batch of these come out. I think I can go here and, buy 60 of these. It looks like I'm going to make $10 per unit or $7 per unit. But what if I just made $3 per unit? My mindset is I just spent, 15 minutes to do the order, and I'm going to make $180 over the next month. Even if I make $3 per unit, and I don't have to touch the inventory, so I pay my prep people, whatever. So what if it's $2 per unit? I spent 15 minutes to do this order, and I'm going to make $120 over the next month. It sounds like, no, I don't want to, hey, trust me, I don't want to make $2 per unit, but if worst case scenario, that's what happens, and I get 6 returns, then, your time's still exponentially growing. You just need to have the capital to be able to buy like that, because that's still, a considerable amount of money to spend. You might spend $1,000 and make $200. And still, if it's consistent and you're knowledgeable and you know it, it's still not too bad if you can consistently do it.
Okay, man. This is a big space. I would love to sit down and look over your shoulder as you do a sourcing session. We may have to arrange that sometime, or talk through that at the summit. I know we'll have plenty of time to kind of talk through these pieces. But what are you doing when you sit down to find? You mentioned harvesting your own leads is obviously the best situation. And you look, and you mentioned that you have a VA that you've been working with and kind of cultivating your list, your internal leads. How do you go about that process? First off, are there any software or tools that you use that help you? Or when you're sitting down, you leave this webinar today and you're going to go sit down in a coffee shop to go source some products, where do you start at?
So let's see. You can always use your email. Obviously, any retailer that you go to their website, get on their email list, they're going to want you to get on. It's going to have a big pop-up saying join our email list. Whatever retailer it is, online retailer, go ahead and get on that email list. Subscribe, just comb through it once in a while if you have the time, if it makes sense for you. Have your VA comb through it and just search leads. There's an extension called context menu search that you can use that, if you're on any website, it's just, you can highlight an item and you right click and it says context menu search Amazon, and it'll basically just search Amazon like it's Google. And sometimes you might bounce right back around and you search Google simultaneously. Just do one search for Google, one for Amazon, and then kind of comb through Google, comb through Amazon, and put the pieces together and place an order. And that's a good way to do things. I have tactical arbitrage. We've got a system in place with that to find quality leads. And I'd rather have quality leads than quantity. Trust me, I'd rather have 5 good leads than 100 bad leads, or 100. And there's not really, bad leads are just, it's hard to say what's a bad lead or not, because you learn by experience, and there's also the chance. That's why diversification is good. I'm still not going to spend, no matter how good the lead is, if it's $1 and it sells for 1,000. If that's a pretty cool case, I probably would buy. But I'm not going to go all in on one thing. If something's really good, I might spend a lot of money on it. I might buy 100 units if something's really good, but that's not the norm. But I will buy. I'm starting to buy more, like 20 units of each. So tactical arbitrage. I have OA X-ray. I'm not sure if it's just me. I loved using it when it first came out. I've used it for almost 2 years, but I don't really use it as much anymore, if at all. So I don't know, maybe I'm just not up to date with how to use it, because I don't sit here and do all the nerdy stuff. I kind of figure out one little ninja trick and I just stick with it. You guys don't need to know everything. Just find something that's working and then keep doing that. So that's kind of how I do things. Okay. Get leads, and I say no to a lot of leads too. I'm on some lists, and the majority of leads I don't buy. So understand that too. There's a lot of leads.
Yeah. Oh, I think it's a good way to approach. A lot of people approach sourcing looking for what should I buy. I think you should approach sourcing as you should be looking through the lens of why should I not buy this product? Why should I not buy this product? And that'll keep you. And then when you find one that you're like, well, I can't really think of any reason why. That's the good stuff. So you mentioned, so you don't use OA X-ray anymore. You mentioned 3 resources. One, this is like Online Arbitrage 101, which is just subscribing to, Walmart.com, get on the email list, and there's a whole list. I mean, there's how many different email lists are you on? Like hundreds of them?
I don't know. Probably maybe like 20. I don't really pay attention to all of them, but I'm like on 20, I'd say. And, of course, the big, Amazon Prime Day. I really didn't even buy too much on Prime Day because I was kind of just spending some time with the family and stuff. But I did buy, I think I bought a little bit of stuff. Sold a lot of stuff. So
okay, so you subscribe to a handful of online stores. I don't know if you will share the specifics maybe for the summit, like where you're subscribing. That's a good little tip because those resellers will or retailers will send discounts on product and stuff, and so it kind of gives you that inside look. Number 2, you mentioned the context search. I have no idea what you're talking about with that. Right clicking on something.
Yeah, so use all the free resources you can, guys. Any Google Chrome plugins, context menu search. It's just a Google Chrome plugin. It's very simple to use. It's fast. It's actually a lot better than a lot of things it's so simple. It's fast, and that's what you're looking for. Walmart extension, etc. Also, you guys can look for duplicate listings, bundles. Those things are awesome. Maybe I don't know why, but bundle something up. Even if it's a low margin, guys, think about this as a logistics algorithm type of thing. Low margin, you can bundle something together and you make $350 per bundle, but maybe you're selling 40 bundles a month, and that's $120 from that per SKU profitability. You can sell 40 of those bundles per month. Let's just make this basic. About 33 bundles that you make $3 per bundle with. And that's $100 per month. Well, what if you just had 20 bundles like that and you paid someone to do it for you $500 a month? That's $2,000 a month from just a basic logistic part of your business. Very simple, very doable for a lot of people.
Okay, cool. We might have to cut some tutorials for the group on setting some of this stuff up. And then you mentioned the third one was tactical arbitrage, which is the probably most common OA software. So you guys use that, and then you use that in combination with your VA that helps to automate some of these processes. So let me ask this, man, in the sake of time, you kind of, we opened the door to OA, and obviously there's more than we can unpack in just like a kind of an intro hangout to online arbitrage. We'll talk more about this at the summit. If you guys want tickets, there's a link below. You can go to Seller Summit Live to grab your tickets for that while the room block's still open. Make sure to move on that. But Devon, what are some, are there any like gold nuggets, man, some little ninja things that you're doing right now that's working well? You've always got some, you're like the secret agent, man. You always got some little ninja thing up your sleeve. So is there any little nugget bomb you want to drop? We got probably just a couple minutes here and we got to wrap up.
Yeah, I mean, if you find a good item, just get as many as you can. I saw something a while ago. It was just that deer rider thing, the Intex, what's it called? Inflatable. It's like a bull that you ride on in the pool and everybody tries to shake you and knock you off.
Oh, yeah.
I saw those a long time ago in like February or March, and I was like, man, these are going to be hot. And I shouldn't have second guessed myself. I should have bought some back then, but I picked up quite a few of those. I set up an alert on Amazon to let me know when they're in stock, and I'll probably make, $2,000 from those. So that's not like rocket, this money starts to be more fluid and liquid. It's more about scaling your business than it is the daily income, which is good too. So if you find a good lead, guys, do whatever you have to do to track it down. Those inflatable things, think about that. Maybe, you're just like, that's the only thing I know, and I'm just going with that. I'm going to drive to 30 Walmarts and buy as many of those as I can off top. Or call them and see if they have them in stock first. If they don't, then move on. Sit and make your time worth it. But maybe you find 10 Walmarts within 6 hours of you that have some of those in stock, and you say, hey, Maybe, you know, a lot of Walmarts won't do it. Can you hold those for me? And you go there, you pick up 2 of the inflatables, and you go, all right, I'm going to make $50 to $70 on each of these. And you go, that's $100. It kind of makes it worth the trip. I mean, that's not too bad. And then you go, oh, wow, the clearance there also brought in another $100. That's $200 from one store. And let me go across the street to Target and maybe just find one item. You make $60 from, or 2 items, and you put those together. And then you go to a few other stores in the area and you go, this little trip to the city was $300. Let me go to 2 other little towns in the area that day and try to make $900. Worst case scenario, if the prices tank, I'll still bring in $500. Then I'm going to go home and set your phone. Just set the timer on your phone for like, choose a time, maybe it's 30 minutes. And I'm just going to focus on buying online arbitrage, and I'm going to make 2 or 3 purchases. And then you've done enough in a day, guys, to make this a full-time income. Over time. Maybe you just do the online thing, right? Maybe you can't. You're saying, I'm so busy, the kids are here, the dog is running around. So, you know, I'm going to go to my local Walmart for 60 minutes sharp. So I set myself a time limit. When I walk in a store, I'll just be, all right, we need to be out of here in 30 to 40 minutes. That's it. And I'm walking fast. I don't want to be rude. And also, guys, make sure people are not overcharging you. I don't like to be rude at the register. I look and I'm like, hey, you know, because I've been overcharged or even undercharged so many times that I'm like, I always look at the little thing, make sure everything's ringing up for the correct price. Because your time is valuable. You don't want to wait in a customer service line. The goal is to really get to the milestone. I would say, guys, when I got started, is $100 a day profit. You can make it's a very simple number, right? It's $3,000 a month, and let's just say you know 5 days a week you go out. Still, that's $2,000 a month. You can do that. And if you don't touch that money, if you have other money for your job that pays your bills, then that little $2,000 a month can snowball. You take that $2,000, you say, that's going into online arbitrage. I'm going to make another $2,000 next month with retail. Well, the year's going to end and you can make $30,000 or $40,000, guys. Know all your stuff. Keep your business tight. Keep track of your receipts. Use some software for your accounting. Keep your business tight, guys. It's such a big market that you don't have to sit here and look at me, you know, winning, look at whoever else is winning, and think that we're the only ones that can do it. There's such a big market, guys, a huge market. Different things you can do. Just think as creatively as possible. Take out a piece of paper, write down every single possible avenue that you could do to make some money, to invest in your business, every single possible avenue for Amazon, and then kind of circle it and backtrack to what you're going to do, guys. So if there's a biggest takeaway, set a time limit on the things that have to get done. Maybe you come home from work, you have dinner with the family, and then you say, all right, here's a timer that's hard set for 45 minutes, and you put your blinders on. There's no Facebook open. There's no email. No, maybe your email open, but there's nothing else open. There's no distractions, and you're browsing. You're manually searching for leads if that's what you have to do. And then you're saying, all right, I found something. I don't know. Make sure it's not a subcategory. If it is, be careful about buying it. Maybe only buy a few. You need to learn subcategories. And by subcategory, I mean like headphones. You know, there's not a Jungle Scout data that's going to tell you how many headphones sell. So if it's ranked, 7,000 in headphones, I mean, I don't think that's actually not too bad of a rank. But you probably don't want to buy 30 of them. You might buy 5. And, there's a lot of things like that online that are high ROIs. Buy from legitimate websites. Don't buy stuff from, websites that you don't feel good about, that Amazon won't, appreciate. If you have invoices for it, just buy from legitimate websites. And that's it, guys. Pull the trigger on some items. Do it every day. You're going to learn so much over the next 30 days. It'll be crazy. Your next 45 days. Get to the summit. You're going to take that information, a few little conversations, along with the belief, the instilled belief that, these are real people that are just like me, making a full-time income. And I'm excited to learn and set my Q4 on fire when I get back. Get ungated for as many things as you can too. I mean, that's huge. Get ungated, pay the fees to get ungated. If you can pay the fees, that'll just open up so much opportunity for you. And if you're really tight on money, network too. I have people all the time. I mean, they could sell me inventory and I'll buy it. Just send me a picture of the receipt. If you're restricted, there's 100 on a shelf that are whatever. Grant posted that lead from Oral B. I can't sell Oral B, so if I found 100 on a shelf, I'd say, Grant, here's a picture of the receipt. That way, this is a legitimate purchase. I'd like to make $3 off of each of these. Boom, you make $300 extra in a day. Maybe it's $5. Whatever it is, just be as creative as you can and take that action and scale up. And it'll get to a point where, you have some leverage and you have some insight, and you can kind of look down and move the pieces around. So I hope this is helping you guys.
Yeah, you're dumping a lot, dude. It's like drinking from a fire hose sometimes.
Yeah, I had to, man. Sorry.
No, it's good. This is the value. You're painting a good picture of why coming to the summit is so valuable, because it's and this is different, Devon. I mean, this isn't a huge conference like a lot of Amazon events are. There's going to be plenty of opportunity to connect with sellers in your area that are just like you. And I think that's the biggest change that happens when you hang out with Devon. You're hanging out in the hallway, or you're at dinner or at lunch or something. You can just hear that. I mean, a lot of what Devon does is really simple. And we'll have to, I know you'll share some technical stuff at the summit, and we'll have to have you back maybe for some technical OA training on how to pull some of these things off inside the group. But I know you keep things really simple, and you don't have a huge team. You're doing all the buying yourself still. You got one VA, you got a couple part-time preppers that come over, and you've got a part-time RA shopper. It's funny, we're having an OA conversation, but Devon, you keep talking a lot about retail arbitrage, so I know it's a big part of your business still. So anyway,
I know.
Real quick, man, we got to wrap up. Julie Wiseman says she likes the timer idea, as she tends to spend more time than she planned when sourcing. So that's a great time hack for anything. Just set the timer on your phone for half hour, 45 minutes, or an hour, and then you got to get it done by then. One last question from Bruce. Bruce Finn asked, I think he's asking an RA question. Do Walmart's price at each location, or do they price at a corporate level? Like our price is different from area to area?
So unless you are on lists or you have a special bolo you're looking for, like the inflatable bull rider thing that's retail price that sells for at time, it's probably going to sell for $150 to $200 by the end of August. Unless you have a lead like that, then you want to buy clearance, and clearance varies by store. Sometimes what you can do though is if you wipe out a section at one store and you get a good deal, go to the next store and say, hey, this Walmart had these for $10 and I see they're 20 here. They're clearance. I know you guys got to get rid of them. I'd be happy to take them off your hands for $10 each. And just those little pieces of the puzzle, that's $100 here, $100 there. You're gonna build your business in a simple way, like Gabe said, keep it simple. Build your business $100 at a time. And then once your business gets a little bit bigger, you're building it $500 at a time. So go to one Walmart and do it. And then also ask for a discount, guys. I've asked for so many discounts and I've been rejected. I've been laughed at. But I've also had a lot of people be like, you know what, I think, yeah, we'd be happy to help you out. Build some relationships if you can, the clearance manager, talk to him, ask him about his family or whatever. I mean, it seems like cliche, like, wow, I'm really going to do that. But if you can make an extra $200 a month from doing that, from every time you walk in the store, once a month, I mean, that adds up. That's $2,400 for the year. Sometimes, like I said, I've spent 10 grand at one store. I went into bought like 55 digital cameras from in the LA area. And I just asked the manager, I was like, man, this stuff is dusty. It's on the shelf. We need to buy it. I mean, I'd be happy to buy it, man. I got a dream. I want to help my family out. Can you understand this stuff, man? And he was like, well, I can't give you 50% off, but I can give you 30% off the clearance price. Authorized it, and I bought like 55 digital cameras and a bunch of other stuff, and I made like $5.5 grand from that. And I was there for like 4 hours. That was right after the summit last year. Right after the summit. So if anything else, guys, like the summit, you're going to be so pumped up and positive that you're going to come back and everything you do is just going to be on fire. And your attitude is a huge part of the business too, guys. Have a good attitude. Be very optimistic. Because you're not, I mean, you're playing for the long term, right? Amazon's, going to be around for a long time. E-commerce, big picture, selling on Walmart, maybe other platforms. It's going to be, guys. So play to win, educate yourself well, take the shortcut, get to the summit. It's going to be a huge shortcut. I'm going to share a lot more there than I did here. Details, examples, bring the house down. And if anything else, just the positivity, We got Sam Crowley, world-class speaker. I'm excited. Getting to events. Gabe is an Advent event tender. I'm an Advent event attender. We're going overtime. But they're so important, guys. It's just fun. Money for the event, go out. Like retail arbitrage, I mean, that's it. I can tell you one thing too. Be consistent. A big thing is try to get ungated. Just click this approval. Actually approving people now. I got approved for some incredible categories. And if you're not approved now, that's kind of like the light at the end of the tunnel. Maybe it'll happen because they see you're a consistent seller like I've been with a good standing, and then they'll start approving.
Hey, Devon.
They're not approving other people for, and it just opens up like the blue ocean.
Yeah, brother. Hey, I appreciate you sharing, man. We're starting to catch a little feedback. I noticed you you got back on the road. So Denise Miller says she can't wait. I know a bunch of you guys already got tickets. Let me just end with this, man. This was meant to be a little preview, or just a sneak preview of what's going to happen at the summit. You said it real well, Devon. The summit's like a shortcut, and that's probably the best way I can describe what's going to happen in Louisville, Kentucky. Is if you want to get the results that you're looking in life, it's a shortcut to get there, and it's the best thing. I mean, there's going to be more growth that happens in those 2.5 days, those 3 days that we're together on August 31st through July 2nd than a lot of people will have all year. And that's just the power of events. You get around people and you hang out with a guy like Devon. You're like, you know what, man, you're crushing it, but you're no different than me. And you just been at this game a little longer. You've been consistent and you stayed in the game. That's one of the big differences between you, Devon, and a lot of sellers is you stay in the game, man. And a lot of people give up too soon. There's that adage of stopping 3 feet from gold. So Bruce Fenn says, thank you guys both. We'll get more technical guys in the future. Devon, just in closing, man, why are live events important for you as a person? Have you had any major breakthroughs in events in the past? Okay, I think we lost Devon. Devon's on the go. Devon, can you hear us, man? Devon's on the go, man. Always on the hustle. So we'll have Devon back. It looks like Devon's screen froze. So guys, hey, appreciate you all. If you haven't claimed your tickets yet, there's a link below this at thesellersummitlive.com. And for those of you guys watching online, if you want to be a part of these and be a part of our top secret Amazon group and our community of nationwide sellers, I'll have some info on that below as well. Bruce Finn says he's at Walmart. I think Devin's on his way up to Oregon to visit some family members, so he's in the car. John Cato says, thanks, guys. Keep selling. So, hey, John, appreciate you being on live, brother. Bruce, appreciate you being on. Denise Miller, Julie Wiseman, you guys are always awesome. Devon, I can hear you, man. Are you back, brother?
Hey, can you hear me?
There you are, dude. Yep. I was just wrapping up, man.
We're in and out, man.
Yeah, you're on the car, dude. Any closing words, man? I know we're going to continue this conversation at the summit, brothers. So anything else? Any other little preview about the summit you want to share about why events are important?
Yeah, I mean, mentors, summit. When you get one lead from us for Q4, it's going to make your whole summit experience, worth it. But that's not the only thing. You're going to have such a breakthrough from, hearing from Sam Crowley, hearing technical stuff we're going to be teaching, along with, specific, leads and stuff, guys. That's all you need is a few specific leads and the belief, and don't stop. Throw fire on the gasoline. When you have a $5,000 month, celebrate it. Go on a night out or a weekend out, but then come back and say $5,000 a month, that's nothing. I want to come back and hit a $10,000, $15,000 a month. To get that going, get in the private label, guys, and that's the building block. Private label, I got mine launched right now, guys. It's well ranked. I'm so excited about that too. About to be learning from Craig. It's just growing your business, guys. You can take this business like I did, from being broke and having $500 cash, a little bit of credit card, and a lot of hustle, and then getting access to lots of capital, lots of knowledge that simultaneously goes with it, and having 10K months, 12K months, cash money in your bank account, paying your bills. It's a real business, guys. You can get to 6 figures. Just work hard, focus, get to the event, network, buy me some fried chicken, some Kentucky fried chicken, and I might show the biggest. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, Devon's known to share some leads in exchange for fried chicken. So just a little clue. Do you guys want to take Devon out for lunch? He'll probably drop the gold.
Memphis, we have
Yeah, man. Well, hey, Devon, I appreciate your time, man. Appreciate you guys being on live. Looking forward to seeing everybody live in person. And the summit's one of my favorite things that we do all year because we get to hang out and get off the interweb. And it's always funny when you meet people and they're like, hey, you look a lot different than your Facebook picture. And you're like, well, yeah, that's because Facebook's picture, you're like an inch tall. So we'll be live in the flesh. If you want to hang out with Devon, myself, we got Gary Ray in the house, Grant Dunn, Craig Soderdahl's been talking about private label this year. That's going to be kind of a corner we're going to turn as a group, getting into the domestic private label space like Devin's talking about. So, hey, guys, appreciate you being on live. We'll see you in the group. Devon, have an awesome week, man, and we'll see you in Louisville in just a couple weeks, brother.
Yes, sir. God bless all you guys. I want to see you all win. Take lots of action. Write your ideas down, and stay tuned in the group and get to the event.
There it is, man. All right, peace. Safe travels, Devon. Guys, have an awesome Friday. We'll see you in the group. And if you're not a part of what we're doing, click below. You can join our community, and we'll see you on the inside, guys. Have an awesome week. We'll see you, Devon.
All right, see ya. Bye.